This is Sprigatito. It's the Gen 9 grass starter for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and I want its final evolution to be Grass Electric. Here's why. So it's no secret that the grass starter has had the short end of the stick through this entire series. Sure, Venusaur, Decidueye, Rillaboom, they're all great, but for the most part, this group has suffered at the hands of terrible typing. Grass type is just not on the same level as water and fire. The idea is that these three elements are all supposed to balance each other, being strong and weak to one of the other types. But despite this, grass just struggles to keep up with the other two in every area. So fire is good at damaging 4 types and bad at damaging 4 types. Water's only good at damaging 3 types, but it's only resisted by 3 types. You see that perfect balance going on there? Well, like water, grass is also good against 3 types, but it's bad at damaging 7. This puts it at a huge offensive disadvantage as your main Pokemon has bad coverage against a good chunk of encounters you'll face. Not a very good option for the main Pokemon on your team. So with this knowledge and the premise that we want the 3 intro main characters to be somehow balanced, you'd think it would make up for this defensively, right? Well, it doesn't. Fire resists 6 types and is weak to 3, giving it a nice 2-to-1 ratio. Similarly, water is weak to 2 types and resists 4. That sounds fair to me. Now, once again, just like water, grass resists 4 types. But instead of being weak to 2, it's weak to 5. So while the other two sit in perfect harmony, grass is both worse offensively and defensively. Now there's one last area where grass types could have been saved. Grass types could have been saved had they been given amazing second typings. You've got fire being given psychic, dark, fighting, can't forget fighting types. Water got fairy and steel, plus the insane type combination of water ground. Meanwhile, half of the grass starters are just grass type, which we already know is terrible, and the other half are not even close to making this up. You have poison, fighting, ground, and ghost. Not bad, but not enough. So grass has been sewered. At this point, the only thing we can really do to make a sick grass starter is give it a better typing. Now, grass dragon would be sick. Unfortunately, it would then resist fire types, so we can't have that. Grass fairy would be pretty sick too, but then you get a 4x weakness to poison. And you definitely can't do grass steel because then you'd be 4x weak to the fire starter. But grass electric is a really interesting type combo. See, we think about the elements as grass, fire, water, but electric type is the 4th element that's being missed out here. And you know how water and fire types have equally good benefits compared to their downsides? Well, electric actually continues this theme. It's only good against water and flying, but its only weakness is ground. Actually, based on this premise, electric would make for a better 3rd typing overall. But you obviously can't lose your trio, right? Game Freak would never break up this cycle, unless Sprigatito's final form becomes grass electric. Here's why this is so good. Grass and electric are both good against water, so that part of the triangle stays the same. And since this is still a grass type, fire has superiority over it. But it gets even better. Offensively, instead of being super effective to 3 types and ineffective to 7, you're super effective for 4 types and you only hit 2 for half. Defensively, you go from 5 weaknesses down to 4, and you can now hit all of them for neutral damage. But most importantly, you get amazing coverage against 2 very tricky typings. Grass types are great for covering water. It's one of their best features. But you run into a Gyarados, maybe a Pelipper, you always struggle because this is a flying type. Having electric here gives you 4 times coverage that the grass type wouldn't normally have. And grass works the exact same way for electric types. Electric types, also amazing against water, but its #1 issue that it's always faced are the very common water ground. Pretty much every generation has one of these things. And as an electric type, not only would you now be not weak to it, but you actually hit it for 4x damage with grass type moves. So while in some ways it's a little redundant, I think a grass electric type would be perfect. But honestly, it's probably going to be grass fairy.